I still remember the scent of fresh lilies drifting through my open windows that spring morning, the way sunlight spilled across the hardwood floors I'd refinished myself. This house, it wasn't just walls and a roof. It was every late night, study session in college, every paycheck I stretched until it screamed, every tear I wiped away after Mom passed. I bought it at 26, a tiny 2-bedroom on a quiet cul-de-sac, and I poured my soul into making it home. White picket fence, wildflower garden. The little blue swing on the porch where I'd sip coffee and dream about the family I'd build one day. My brother, Ethan, was the golden child growing up. Charismatic, loud, always the center of attention. I was the quiet one, the fixer, the one who cleaned up his messes. When he called me 3 months ago, voice trembling with excitement, saying he'd finally proposed to Claire, my heart swelled. Sis, we want something small, intimate. Your backyard is perfect. Please. How could I say no? I pictured string lights, folding chairs, laughter echoing under the maple tree. I said yes before he finished the sentence. The planning became my second job. I painted the fence, planted extra roses, even refinished the patio stones so Claire's heels wouldn't sink. Ethan swung by most evenings, measuring the yard, sketching layouts on napkins. "You're a lifesaver, Em," he'd say, ruffling my hair like we were kids again. I believed him. I believed in us, but what I didn't know that day, as I hung fairy lights from the pergola, was that my brother had already drawn up papers that would turn my sanctuary into his battlefield. The wedding day arrived like a dream. 50 guests, soft jazz, Claire in a simple lace gown that made her look like moonlight. I stood at the altar as maid of honor, clutching a bouquet of peonies, tears in my eyes as they exchanged vows. In sickness and in health. Till death do us part. Ethan's voice cracked on the last word, and I thought it was emotion. I thought it was love. The reception spilled into dusk. Fairy lights twinkled. Kids chased fireflies. I kicked off my heels and danced barefoot with Aunt Linda, who whispered, "You've outdone yourself, sweetheart." Ethan pulled me into a hug, champagne on his breath. "Couldn't have done this without you." I smiled so wide my cheeks hurt. That night, after the last guest left and the caterers packed up, I collapsed on the couch, feet aching, heart full. Ethan and Claire were staying in the guest room, one last sleepover before their honeymoon. I drifted off to the sound of crickets, thinking this was the happiest day of my life. Morning came too soon. I woke to the rumble of a diesel engine. Groggy, I padded to the window and froze. A moving truck idled in my driveway. Men in navy uniforms unloaded ramps. Ethan stood on the porch in yesterday's tux shirt, directing them like a conductor. "Careful with the couch, it's antique." My stomach dropped. I threw on a robe and stumbled outside. "Ethan, what's going on?" He turned, flashing that easy grin. "Morning, sleepyhead." Claire and I decided why pay rent on 2 places. "Your house is perfect for us. Bigger yard. Better schools for when kids come. You've got that tiny apartment downtown, right? This just makes sense." The world tilted. What are you talking about?" He pulled papers from his back pocket, crisp and official. "I had Uncle Raid that lawyer friend draw these up. You signed the backyard usage agreement, remember? Page 3, fine print. It transfers ownership to me and Claire upon marriage. Consider it our wedding gift." He laughed like it was the funniest joke in the world. I snatched the pages. My signature stared back at me, scrawled beside a clause I'd skimmed in my excitement. My knees buckled. This wasn't a prank. This was theft wrapped in legalese. "Ethan," I whispered, "this is my house. I paid for every nail." His smile faded. "Come on, Em. Family shares. You're always saying that." Claire appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. "We're already approved for the mortgage refinance. Your credit's great, thanks for that." She said it sweetly, like she was thanking me for coffee. The movers kept working. My couch mom's couch disappeared up the ramp. I stood, barefoot on the cold grass, watching my life get loaded into a truck while my brother sipped coffee from my favorite mug. That was the moment something inside me cracked open. Not just heartbreak. Rage, cold, crystalline rage. The next weeks blurred into a nightmare I couldn't wake from. Ethan changed the locks before I could grab my winter clothes. My key slid uselessly in the deadbolt. Claire posted Instagram photos #newlywed nest with my wildflowers in the background. Friends texted congratulations, thinking I'd gifted the house. So generous, Emily. I crashed on my coworker Sarah's futon, staring at the ceiling each night, replaying every conversation. How had I missed the signs? Ethan asking for my mortgage statements to help with taxes. Claire measuring rooms for decoration ideas. The way they'd linger after planning sessions, whispering in the kitchen. I called Uncle Ray, voice shaking. You drafted this. Your family. He sighed through the phone. Ethan said you agreed. I just notarized. Click. Lawyers were expensive. My savings meant for a new furnace dwindled on consultations. One attorney shook his head. The clause is ironclad. You'd need to prove fraud or duress. Another quoted 20 grand just to file. I hung up and cried in my car. Ethan texted updates like nothing happened. Picked out nursery paint soft gray. Attached was a photo of my office, walls already primed. Claire sent a Venmo request, for new curtains $300. You had those ugly blinds anyway. I stopped eating, stopped sleeping. Sarah found me once at 3 a.m., scrubbing her bathroom floor with a toothbrush. You're scaring me, M. But beneath the grief, a plan formed. Quiet, methodical. I started small requesting documents from the title company, pulling Ethan's credit report. We'd co-signed a car years ago. I still had access. Every night, I sat cross-legged on Sarah's rug with highlighters and legal pads, piecing together a timeline. Turns out, Ethan had been planning this for months. Bank statements showed withdrawals labeled wedding fund that matched deposits into a joint account with Claire opened the week he proposed. The backyard usage agreement. 47 pages. I'd signed it over pizza, distracted by seating charts. I discovered something else. The house wasn't just in my name, it was in a trust. Mom's trust, created after Dad died, with language about intentional gifting and undue influence. Ethan knew. He'd asked about it years ago, joking, "Leave me the house in your will, sis." I'd laughed. Now I wasn't laughing. I found a pro bono legal clinic downtown. The attorney, Ms. Rivera, had sharp eyes and no patience for sob stories. I laid out everything: documents, texts, the Instagram posts. She tapped her pen. This smells like elder abuse tactics, but you're not elderly. Still, we can work with undue influence. You trusted him as family. That's your angle. For the first time in weeks, I breathed. Ethan's housewarming party was the final straw. Invitation via group text. Come see our forever home. Fire pit, live band, signature cocktails. My fire pit, my band budget. I stared at the RSVP button until my thumb shook. Sarah grabbed my phone. You're not going. No, I said slowly. But someone is. I hired a process server, dressed as a caterer. While guests toasted the happy couple, he handed Ethan an envelope in front of everyone. Ethan James Carter. You've been served. The party froze. Claire's cocktail slipped from her hand, shattering on his patio stones. Court was scheduled for a Tuesday in October. I wore the same navy suit I'd bought for Mom's funeral. Ethan strutted in with a $500 Anwar attorney, smirking like this was a game. Claire sat behind him, clutching a designer purse that cost more than my first car. Ms. Rivera laid it out like a prosecutor in a movie. Texts where Ethan bragged about finally getting what's mine. Bank records showing he'd siphoned my wedding budget into their account. The trust documents, Mom's handwriting in the margins, for Emily's security, not to be transferred without her express consent in writing. Separate from any other agreement. Ethan's lawyer argued I'd signed willingly. Ms. Rivera smiled. Let's ask the bride. She projected Claire's Instagram live from the housewarming. Claire giggling. Emily basically gave us the house as a wedding gift. The judge's eyebrows shot up, then came my ace. I'd kept every voicemail, one from Ethan. 3 days after the wedding. Stop being dramatic. It's just a house. You can crash with Sarah forever if you want. The courtroom filled with his smug voice. Gasps rippled through the gallery. The judge ruled in my favor in 12 minutes. Ownership reverted immediately. Ethan and Claire had 72 hours to vacate. The trust violation triggered penalties. Ethan owed me 3 years of mortgage payments plus legal fees. His face went the color of spoiled milk. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. I kept my statement short. Family isn't a loophole, it's a promise. The moving truck returned this time, mine. I stood on the porch as they loaded Ethan's flat screen, Claire's wedding china, the nursery paint cans still unopened. Ethan tried to speak. We can work this out. Keys, I said. He dropped them in my palm, like they burned. That night, I slept in my own bed for the first time in months. The sheets smelled like lilac and justice. I hung new curtains, heavy, soundproof, the kind that block out the world. In the morning, I planted mums in the exact spot where Ethan had stood, grinning with my house keys. People ask if I forgive him. Forgiveness isn't a switch. It's a garden. You weed out the rot, plant something stronger. Ethan texts sometimes, apologies laced with excuses. I don't reply. Claire unfollowed me, then refollowed, then blocked. Their marriage lasted 8 months. Rumor is, the prenup she insisted on had a clause about asset misrepresentation. Karma wears many faces. I still host weddings in my backyard, real ones, for couples who ask, not take. Last month, a bride left a note in the guest book. Your strength gave me courage to leave a bad relationship. Thank you. I cried reading it on the porch swing. Here's what I learned. Love doesn't keep score, but trust does. And when someone tries to steal your foundation, you don't just rebuild, you fortify. My house is still small, still mine, but now it holds something bigger than walls. It holds the proof that one woman, armed with truth and a good lawyer, can reclaim her world. If you're watching this and someone's trying to take what's yours, your home, your peace, your voice, remember, the moment they think you're broken is the moment you start building the case. Document everything. Trust your gut. And when the gavel falls, stand tall on the porch that's always been yours. Because betrayal can shatter windows, but it can't touch the foundation if you refuse to let it.